Good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming out. Before I talk about our game, I got to congratulate Coach Christy Curry on their huge win at Tennessee. First time in school's history. Man, what an incredible game. I watched the fourth quarter, great comeback. Roller coaster of a second half, but just really want to just tell her how proud we are of her staff, and the players. They really did a great job of representing the university in a first-class manner on the road against a legendary program. So I just wanted to say congratulations again to Coach Christie and her staff and all of the players. We haven't been as good on the road as I would have liked. I was hoping that we could improve in the SEC on the road, especially in the second half of the season. We'll have that opportunity starting tomorrow, playing against a very talented Kentucky team, long team, great rebounding team, especially on the offensive end. A lot of multiple pieces, and just kind of the same thing we have with guys like Dejon and Braxton and Herb. They have the same thing with, Alexander and Knox and Diallo and a lot of those guys that are multiple position players, Jared Vanderbilt. So it's just going to be a test of, can we overcome adversity, move on to the next play, take care of the basketball, get off to a good start. And basically, the game is broken down into 10 4-minute games for us, and we'll see how many of those 4-minute games that we can win. I like the mindset of our team here in the last couple of days, especially with our last two games at home. They've been focused. They haven't complained. They just, they've been responding to coaching, and we're definitely going to need that on tomorrow afternoon.
Avery, you sort of alluded to it right there. Kentucky's probably one of the few teams in the conference that can match you guys lengthwise, position by position. You guys like to get to the rim, like to drive. What challenges do they present just with their sheer length at every position?
Well, I just think they get a lot of deflections on defense, which that can lead to steals, and they get out in the open floor. They're pretty good at beating set defenses, so we're going to have to make sure that we take care of the ball, have great spacing, make sure that we get quality shots. But, we feel that we can match up with anybody, but that's just from a talent and length standpoint. But we're going to need to have the execution and great thought processes and decision-making to go along with it. When we're making good decisions, especially here recently on offense, to go along with as competitive as we can be on defense, then I like our chances. Our guys have matured. Some of the issues I had to deal with early in the season, especially during timeouts and at certain points in practice when we turned up the heat in practice, I don't have to deal with that as nearly as much anymore. And I think the byproduct of that, we've been seeing a better product on the court. Oh, here.
Dejon said it's almost harder to play a team that's on a losing streak as opposed to a winning streak because they have nothing to lose. I just wanted to know what you make of that. Do you think that's true?
Well, I meet him halfway on that. I think they're playing at home, and we haven't had much success, especially in our tenure here, whether we play them at home or on the road. So I just think we have to just be ourselves, and if we can just do that, we'll have a chance. There's no concern to us whether a team is on a winning streak or a losing streak. We're just trying to see if we can win the first couple of minutes of the next game, and then the next couple of minutes after that, and see what happens going into halftime and what adjustments we need to make. Like I told our players, and some of the things I've been talking to them about since Canada, it's finally starting to sink in. And even though we're playing against a talented Kentucky team, it's another jersey. And whether we're playing at Kentucky, at home against Tennessee, Auburn at home, on the road at Florida or Mississippi State is the same thing. You better get back on defense. All right? And there's going to be some player in transition that's going to run at a high level of speed. And if you don't get back and defend him, whatever team he plays for, that's going to be a problem. And if we don't make the extra pass, or if somebody on our team decides they want to dribble the ball 25 times on a possession and we don't move the ball, we're not going to be very good. So I think some of the things we've been talking about, it's amazing with some of these kids that they finally say, oh, I got it. And that's where we are now. So hopefully we continue to get it.
Thank you. Coach, Dante's obviously coming off a big game, but unlike LSU, they have a lot more big bodies to play in the post than LSU did. What does he need to do, he and Daniel, I suppose, for y'all to be successful in Lexington?
Well, you know, see, I think Reed and Epps are big bodies, and Grant Williams and Schofield and Alexander from Tennessee are big bodies, and now we got a couple of different ones in Nick Richards and Winion Gabriel and P.J. Washington. So I just think finding the right spots, Dante does a good job of not being in the same spot all the time, and he tries his best to run in transition. I think he's as competitive as any big guy with his interior defense, and we're definitely going to need that. But it also means our guards have got to do a better job of defending the penetration, because this is a seriously penetrating team. Obviously, we don't want them to make any threes, but the strength of their team is playing inside the three-point line, and we got to try to limit some of their guys who they lean on, with three-point shots. But Dante also is effective when Daniel and Reese or Braxton, when he's at 4, they're doing their jobs, and when he doesn't feel isolated when everything falls on his shoulders. And we had a stretch in the season, Braxton was injured, playing with a bunch of young freshmen, and Dante obviously had a lot on his shoulders, and he wasn't getting as much help as we needed to. I think here recently he's been getting more help, interior defense, interior offense, which frees him up a little bit more.
Coach, you mentioned the Alabama women going on the road and beating a legendary program, and of course that's what you face this week. Is that an extra layer that Kentucky name on the jersey? Is that some layer you have to peel back that you wouldn't have for most games?
Yeah, a lot of these kids are new to the SEC, and it's not like a lot of them have been here at Alabama for 4 years and they have some sort of history playing against Kentucky or at Kentucky. I think this is as good a chance as we're going to have, because we got 5 freshmen in Daniel Giddings, and they just play ball, man. And they really don't care at the moment where we play. And I just think they're not going to be in awe of anything like that. They're just going up there to play basketball. And if we can get the type of focus we've been getting here recently, it plays well on the road or at home. Or if we go back to being middle schoolers, then we're not going to be successful. So I just think the mental edge, recovery of confidence, physicality, playing defense without cheap fouls, setting good legal screens, that's what we've been seeing with our team at home. We've been very inconsistent on the road. But the SEC is tough as it's ever been, and I'm sure they're going to try to correct some of their errors. So we just got to see if we can have a more sustained effort than our opponent.
Hey, Coach. Dejon Ingram said that at the beginning of the season that you guys gave him and some of the other fancy-haired players kind of a hard time. Just what did you say to them? And then also, how have you just kind of learned to embrace the youth on this team?
I've embraced the youth on this team by trying to work out more, take better care of myself. I like Miss Cassandra's late night cooking challenges. So sometimes around 10 o'clock at night when I get home, and she'll, want to have a little bit of a cooking challenge, and I'll cook my best meal and she'll cook her best meal, and those things keep me young, right? Staying in shape, cooking challenges, staying on campus as much, getting out on campus as much as I can, visiting with the students. So I don't know how to answer the hair part. I really don't.
All right, any other questions for Coach?
Oh, one more? Go ahead.
I guess when you watch Kentucky on film and are you surprised at the skid they're on, that they've lost 4 in a row just with the talent they have and the athletes that they run out there?
I just alluded to it earlier, and I think when we say this as coaches, people always think coaches are trying to make an excuse, all right? If you look at their last couple of games that they've lost, so, all right, they've lost to Missouri, they've lost to Tennessee, they've lost to Texas A&M, and they've lost to Auburn. So they're not playing against themselves. They lost at Auburn. They're one of the best teams in the country, let alone the SEC. You playing? Where was Texas A&M ranked to start the season? In the top 10, maybe, somewhere in there. Tennessee's one of the hottest teams in the country, and then Missouri looked like a team that can play with anybody. So part of it is just a byproduct of this conference. And, a lot of, when I first got here, you'd be embarrassed in some ways to be 99. All right. Now people are saying 99 for a lot of teams in our conference might be a good year because of how tough the conference is. So I just think as much as maybe they haven't made as many shots or gotten as many stops as they wanted to, when you're playing against Texas A&M, I know a lot of people at Alabama don't want me to mention other school, but it's the truth. When you're playing against Auburn or Missouri or Tennessee, you better be ready to play. It's tough. And that's why I always thought, 13 or 14 wins this year in this conference could win the conference, because it's just that tough. You weren't going to go 18-0 or 17-1, not this year. Okay? All right, thanks.